Hey everyone, Melly Mel here from Sincerely Creative Mom. Today we're going to be making a pancake wreath for Valentine's Day. The pancake style, as you know or may not know, is designed to be flat but still nice and round and have a nice big statement on your door, but be nice and flat to fit between your screen door and your main door, your storm door and your main door. I'm using a rotary cutter. This is jute poly mesh. It's 10-inch mesh. We're going to cut it 20 inches long. I need 12 pieces. I've already cut 10. We need just 2 more. So I'm using a rotary cutter on a self-healing mat, 20 inches long. Nice and easy. Gives it a nice crisp cut here. You can cut it with scissors if you wish. I prefer the rotary cutter. We're going to use a 14-inch frame today. Our pipe cleaners, we're going to use 12 of them. We're going to have 12 twist ties. So we're going to call this ring number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's zoom you in here so you can see a little better. Ring 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 6 brackets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For your inner twist ties, you're going to go right where that bracket is. Crisscross, twist, twist. We're going to do that 6 times around the center, making sure that your twists are nice and tight so that when you put your mesh in there, it's not going to go anywhere. And all you need to do is do that really 2 twists, make it a good, nice foundation. All the way around here. And then for the next 6, you're going to go right between those brackets on the outside. You're going to kind of eyeball it, and you're going to make it nice and snug. You don't want this pipe cleaner to move once it's in place. So if I run my finger along underneath here, I don't want it to slide, right? I mean, this moves, but you don't want this piece to slide. So I need that to be kind of snug, but not too snug. Crisscross, twist, twist, so that it doesn't move. Now it doesn't have to be perfect in the center. If you eyeball it, it'll be just fine. So again, traditional pancake style, round. It'll be 23, 24 inches long or wide. The wreath itself, before we add the bow, will be about 3 inches deep compared to our typical 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 inches deep. Okay, so we have our frame. We have our mesh all cut. We have 12 pieces of these. We're going to put 1 on each piece, 1 on each twist. So I'm just going to, so it scrolls, kind of naturally scrolls under. I'm going to leave it that way so that the scroll goes under. And I'm going to scrunch my mesh up, right up the center, as much as I can up the center. As much as I can. I'm going to slide it right down in there. Crisscross. Twist, twist. So I don't let go of that mesh until I have that twist. Then I'm going to take these ends and kind of overlap them so that they can be round. And then I'm going to take these ruffles and I'm kind of just going to flip them under. And believe it or not, for the most part, they pretty much stay round and flat like a pancake. Thus, the pancake. You may or may not have heard it before. Ruffle all the way up. Trying to keep it as straight as possible, but keep this part as tiny as possible. Crisscross, twist, twist, overlap. Overlapping it so that it kind of gives itself room to spread out so that you can flip those ruffles under and truly make it as flat as you can be. We're going to do this all the way around. So I live in Michigan, and when I first started making and selling wreaths and hosting classes, really it was hosting classes, but I was selling to my friends and family, and after a while they're like, well, I was making bigger wreaths, and they're like, we really, really can't do the big wreaths because it doesn't fit between our door. I tried to tell them that it was okay that they put it on the outside or their screen door as long as it was protected. They still didn't like that idea because it was not the normal. So I figured I'd come up with something a little bit thinner. I tried and tried and tried, and then when I was getting ready for a class, I was teaching in-person classes. Then this was kind of born. And I've pretty much done it ever since. It's my biggest seller. It's also the one I make the most, so that might be why it's my biggest seller. Just overlapping. Making sure, kind of bring those in. So I don't want to hide the pipe cleaners that are on the center rings, because when I'm ready, I want to be able to find them nice and easy to do our inner layer. Right up the center, keeping that scrunch as teeny tiny as you can. So this pancake style is going to be just slightly different than what I call the traditional pancake style. We're going to add a curl into these. Overall, the wreath will still be pretty thin. Now, also, if you're a wreath maker, or just learning, or advanced, you know that the number one thing our job is to hide this base. That's not attractive. Your customers aren't going to want to see it. So we're going to do our best to do that in all of our designs. Crisscross, twist, twist. Make sure that part is nice and tight. Overlap. Gonna bring that over. Overlap here. Tuck it under. Bring that pipe cleaner up. Make sure I'm taking those ruffles and flipping them under. So now we have our first layer. Typically, I do 2 ribbons. Oh no, we're not doing this. Here we go. Sorry. We have our mesh, which is 10 inches. So this is 20 inches. This we cut at 10 inches. I'm just going to add one little curl, and this curled up real nicely. I don't even have to do anything, but one little curl to the center of these, just for fun. To give it an added dimension. I haven't done this in a long time, but really I was cleaning out some things and decided this roll had to go. So I'm just going to roll it. Crisscross, twist, twist. It's going to look kind of funny for a little bit. Roll it kind of tight. So I guess I wasn't truthful with you in the beginning. I forgot about these curls. When we're done, this overall will be about 4 inches. Without the curls, it's under 3 inches. Teeny tiny. So it stays round. I hide that where it was cut. I hide that in the back as much as I can so it stays underneath. Pinch it so it still stays round. It still stays round and it still stays pretty straight. And then I just scrunch it. So even after it's scrunched, it still looks straight. Still round, still round. Kind of bend it so it's facing out as much as you can. Crisscross, twist, twist. I'm not trying to twist those too many times. I don't want it to intentionally get bigger or taller or deeper. I want it to stay as thin as I can, even with adding these. Okay, now we're going to dive into the ribbon, which I've already cut ahead of time. We have a 1.5 inch, this one's from Michaels. We have a 2.5 inch and another 2.5 inch. I'm bringing that green out of the sign that we're working with. Super, super cute. So I already pre-cut them. They are 14 inches long. Not only did I cut them in length, I also cut the ends in kind of a diagonal manner design. So then I just layered my favorite on the top, the 1.5 inch in the center, and the green on the bottom. Folded it so that I can find the center. And then all we're going to do now is unload, unfold, scrunch them up nice and tight, pull them out towards you. Crisscross. Twist, 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 twist. 7 or 8 or so times. Cut off the excess. And then I'll take this little piece here and kind of stuff it underneath that left side. And then I'm going to pull these apart. Pull them apart. And I'm going to keep a pattern going all the way around. So we're going to keep it green, pink, floral. Green, pink, floral. We're going to do that all the way around. Usually I do 2 ribbons, 2.5 inch ribbons, and that is plenty of ribbon. But I felt like I needed something to kind of break up this. The green and the pink. Pipe cleaners, in my opinion, hide them as much as you can. Once I'm done with this and I cut this off, I've added the 20-inch piece of mesh and the curl. I'm done after I add in that ribbon. So I'm just going to cut those off and be done with those. If I didn't say this already, these are 14 inches long. So the ruffle is 20 inches, 10 inches, 14 inches on the ribbon. All these ribbons are pretty thick, so that center there is not the easiest to work with, but it's doing okay. Pull them apart, pull them up, and pull them apart. So the floral ribbon and the chevron ribbon and the mesh and the sign all come from my favorite supplier. You can get to them through my affiliate link. If you go to coachmellsupplies.com, it will bring you to my supplier. I do, however, buy ribbon from almost everywhere. The pink, the solid pink, is from Michaels. Just really paired nicely. Last one on the outside. If you are watching, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're watching Facebook, don't forget to like and follow our page. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing on the inside. So we're going to take the other pieces of our mesh that I already have pre-cut, and we're going to do the exact same thing. And we're going to kind of layer these. And at first it's going to look like we're covering up what we just did. But you'll see at the end when it's finished, it'll look real nice. That layers, I'm going to go right in. Remember I said keep them ready because I want to just come down. So what we're going to do. Same thing, overlap. Now adding those curls in there makes it a little bit more difficult. It's not a problem. Just have to be a little bit more gentle. You do want to be gentle with the mesh anyways because it's a cut material, it's a woven material. So the more you play with it, the more you move it around, the more it's going to unravel, and fray. So just be gentle with it to start with. It's so pretty. has a Victorian feel, especially with the pink and the green. Two more. So this starts to really kind of cover part of that ribbon. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this top layer. So it's going to have a really nice layered look. It's so pretty. I wish you could see it in person. I am a coach inside the creative coaching group with several other coaches. We are live every day of the week making super cool designs, garlands, decorating Christmas trees, centerpieces, nice big wreaths, simple ideas. If you're a seller or maker for business, lots of things to stock your shop, different techniques, the way we choose our items, our supplies, why we choose certain supplies. Lots of great information in there. Okay, so same thing goes for that. This is the same. We're gonna add our 10-inch curl. Now, in the end, you're not gonna really see this. It's just gonna give a nice dimension when you're looking at it from the side, because you're really not gonna see it at all from the top. You always want to make sure that you're decorating your wreath on all sides. Don't leave the bottom or the side or the top or under the bow. Don't leave that unattended. You want to make sure it's all complete. That wind, especially if they're going to be on the outside of their doors, right? That wind is going to do its job on some of these designs, and you want to make sure when things move around, you have stuff all over kind of covering that. Real gentle when I turn this around. You're watching me hook up those twist ties, the pipe cleaners, to move them around so that I'm not really disturbing that mesh too much. Now, as we start putting this layer on, you're going to notice the center of this wreath is empty. Center of this wreath is going to be pretty empty. We're going to fill it with a sign and a bow. We don't want to leave it empty. Nice and tight. Okay, same thing now. It's going to be super pretty. If you take a look at this point, you really cannot see that wire frame. We're going to make real good sure of it when we add in this layer of ribbon. So just to recap, if you're just kind of joining in, we started with a 14-inch frame with 12 twist ties, just 12. We have 6 on the outside, which we've completed already, and 6 on the inside, which we are completing right now. We started with a 20-inch ruffle. The mesh is 10 inches wide. We started with cuts of 20 inches for the ruffle itself. The curls here were just leftover mesh from another project that I decided to just dump in here. It is 10 inches long. Gives our ribbon a nice pop off the wreath. Our ribbons are 14 inches long. Make it look nice and full. So we do the same ensemble that we do on the bottom, the exact same thing on the top. Make sure your best coming all out towards that edge. The key here is pulling those up, these ribbons up and away from each other before you pull them out. And you know, you put them in there nice and tight in that pipe cleaner and you tied it nice and tight. You can move them. Don't be afraid to move them. Our sign has 2 nice big chunks of red going through it. We're going to bring that into the bow. You don't want to leave such a dominant color out, but I didn't want it to be all over the wreath. I really wanted to hone in on these green and pink here. Make them understand you're the boss and you put them where you want them to go. Last one. So from start to finish, this really isn't too bad of a design. As far as time, super pretty, really pretty along those edges. Super, super pretty. All right, let's place this just for a second. And it leaves a nice big open space. We don't need that. Leaves a nice big open space. Actually, this could snuggle right down in there. Just like that, and we could put a bow at the top. But I really want a bow at the top. I really want a bow at the bottom. So doing that moves a couple of things. See? And we're going to put it right there. Nice big bow right there. Okay, we're going to use, I have super bad carpal tunnel, so we're going to use our easy bow maker. We'll start with about an 8-inch. And a 6.5 inch. So I'm going to pinch. Twist and loop, pinch, twist and loop, and then we're going to do 3 loops and 2 tails on each layer. Nice and easy bow. I'm going to come in with this red, beautiful red that kind of matches. This one I think even came from Hobby Lobby. It did, Christmas section. It's the only one that I found that would really kind of come close to that red that's in there. I didn't want it to be fire engine red because it really just did not work. So this red, make sure I get it just right. Kind of measure. Make sure I'm doing my loops a good size. So pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, Now I know you're probably thinking, why am I not using the Easy Bow Maker for this whole thing? And I know this is going to sound funny, but I'm just not coordinated enough. Let's set that there so it stays where I want it to be. And I'm going to leave the green out of this rip bow. I'm going to come in with a nice little plaid. I think, now that I see it against, yeah, I'm going to do that still. Nice loop. Make sure it's a little shorter than what we got going on here. Pinch. Again, these ribbons are also all pretty thick. Pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist. So tails go over here on the first layer. Tails went on this side on the second layer. And on the third layer, I'm going to come up and over. Right over on this side. I think that was a really good choice. And then I'm just going to top it off. A little bit of lace. This is really thick. Still want to make sure we're scrunching it super tight. Just because it's thick doesn't mean we can't maneuver it the way we need to, right? Pinch, twist, loop. I put a little loop on that first layer. Just a little loop. That's going to be what we use to hide our pipe cleaner. Just because it's thick doesn't mean you have to make it sloppy. Make sure it's doing what you want it to. Did I mention I have carpal tunnel? There we go. Stretch my hand for just a second. Sorry about that. So this is the number one reason why I use this Easy Bow Maker. My hand, to hold it in my hand to do the whole thing just isn't gonna happen. So I like to use it to hold on to my design while I add layer and layer and layer. Add a nice pipe cleaner in there. Scrunch it down real tight. And then, in case I don't trim these up, I like to do it before I put the bow in the design. Sometimes I give them a haircut once they're in there. Trim them up a little bit. Sometimes I don't, but in the event I don't, I always forget to do one. So I always try to dovetail those ends before I put them in. So I'm just folding it like a taco, kind of, and cutting up towards that edge. So first step is, see, we can see our pipe cleaner. When I move this up like this, it's going to hide our pipe cleaner. It's going to hide our evidence. So before we put that in, we're going to add some depth to our sign. So our sign is almost 1/4 of an inch. almost a 1/4 of an inch. It's just not quite a 1/4 of an inch. So if I put my staple through it, if I put my staple in it, which is a 1/4 of an inch, a good solid 1/4 of an inch, it'll go right through it, and then it'll leave little marks on the other side, which we do not want. So I'm going to take the end of the ribbon, cut 2 spots. I'm going to put those pipe cleaners right here at the top. And I like to use just one long stem to pull that into the wire frame to wrap it around. There's lots of layers of that mesh that I'm going to have to go through, which can sometimes prove to be not fun. So if I have to do just one pipe cleaner on each side versus the alternative, which is if I put each side, you know, with 2, right? You would normally think. I always do things backwards. It's okay. All right, we're going to place that sign one more time where we want it to go. Just going to kind of do our best here. And then our bow is going to go right there. So from here, I'm going to take that mesh, the pipe cleaners, and go straight through. I'm going to go right through all that mesh right where it is. So it's helping keep the mesh in place, and it's definitely going to help me keep the sign right where I want it to go. This part can sometimes take a second. There we go. Easy breezy. I'm just wrapping it around that wire frame so it stays right where I want it to be. Making sure the edge of that pipe cleaner, which is sharp, by the way, making sure the edge of that pipe cleaner is facing up into the wreath, so it's not back there scratching anything. There we go. Remember, we're going to do our best to keep it hiding all those pipe cleaners. So I like the bows to be very different than the ribbon in the design. I think we've definitely accomplished that. We have a nice lacy look. That's tying in the lace of this, the lace of the heart. A nice good red. Bringing in a different texture with that plaid, and then topping it off on the very top with that plaid. I'm sorry, the lace, just adorable. So the sign is cute, okay, but we need to make the sign feel like it's part of the design instead of just floating on top of the design. So our bow is going to cover part of the sign, and it's okay. It'll make it feel a little bit more like it's supposed to be there. All right, so I sunk that down in. Start with the bottom layer. Remember, we have 3 loops and 2 tails on each one. I'm going to try my hardest to distribute that accordingly. And this is going to be my pain, but we're going to work on it. Making sure as best as I can that color gets distributed all over. Super cute. Super, super cute. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, maybe something new. Again, don't forget to subscribe. If you are on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. If you are on Facebook, don't forget to follow us. If you are ever looking for a reason to find me again, you can always join my text message list. I send out messages when I have new videos available, when I'm going live on Facebook, or wherever I'm going to go live, wherever that may be. Adorable. Super, super cute. And then before I photograph, I just make sure that everything is pointing out. You guys, thanks very much for joining. If you're watching me for the very first time, it's nice to meet you. I hope we have a chance to meet again. Just trying to make sure I can see every single one of those ribbons along the outside. I'm really glad, I'm really happy I kept that red just in that bow, that solid red. So, so pretty. Y'all, thank you very much for hanging out. Again, Coach Mel, signing off. Thank you very much.